Hey, Tave. Hey, boo. Listen. I need an accountability partner, Octavia. I do. I literally just remembered that I said I was going to do an episode today. And I did not expect my Labor Day to be Labor Day-in the way it's been. And yeah. Anywho. So I wanted to settle in right quick before I just started coming off the top of my head because there ain't no telling what. Okay, and yes, let me tell you, Octavia, I got something I want you to try. Forget my nail, it came off today. Anyways, this is banana pudding moonshine. Okay, so we just gonna see what happened, and I don't know. I mean, this is not about to stress me, but this is how I know that, I mean, you and Ina gonna have to be the social media star because I can't do it because I'm just not used to doing stuff I don't want to do. And if I don't feel like doing something, I'm just not gonna do it. And I be busy. You know I'm around here like, come over, boo. Anyways, yes, come over because I had something that I need you to try. Anywho, so I'm like, I don't have no bra on or nothing. Lord, let me drop this thing down a little because, honey, listen, them things is just a wiggle and a jiggling. Make the night complete, okay? Ooh. There we go. Maybe they won't be flip-flopping and all that. Listen, I breastfed. Sorry. All right. So I was gonna start off with some Black people announcements of just stuff that I randomly just be writing down. Oh, thank you, boo. Stuff I just randomly be writing down that I feel like we as Black people need to do better about. I feel like my mind is like a billion tabs open at one time. And so I always carry my phone or something with me just so I can write stuff down that comes to my mind because, yeah. And so I was just going to kind of go with that and just see what was up with the people. Because I hate to say that I was going to do something and I haven't done it. And I know, like, people ain't going to care again. But for me, I don't care about it being for people. The one person that it benefits, if I say I'm going to be on today or whatever, that I at least want to try to do something like that. I like to be a woman of my word. But anywho, so here we are. All right. So, hold on. Let me go to my little notes section. Hey, y'all. Jump in. Say hello. How's y'all Labor Day going? Lord, I just started sweating already, Jesus. Woo. 41. You're not going to do me like this, okay? Because everything else is not giving 41. But these hot flashes is definitely giving perimenopause. Anyhow. All right. So, Tav, as I was saying, I need an accountability partner so I can, like, handle my social media better. or I just need to just go ahead and hire somebody, which is I think what I need to do. I just need to hire a virtual assistant or something like that, because I tried scheduling my post out so that I don't have to be like online to do all of the posting and stuff. But even that becomes redundant. Like, I may be the only like really good therapist that don't really do like people. Like, yeah, hold me accountable, Tay. Like, listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. This is probably gonna end up with me hiring somebody for this, because I just can't see me. It just, I would be lying to say that I don't care what people think or whatever, but I am mindful of, like, I want to be impactful, and I want to, you know, make sure that I'm not coming up here that I'm representing myself, you know, well, but it just is too much. Because, you know, when you working for yourself, like, I'm just like come as I am kind of thing. I don't do all of that shucking and jiving, and yeah, I don't do all of that. I don't do all of that, because I am amazing at what I do, super educated about what I do, and I can still drop an F-bomb and still be my neural spicy self that's all over the place, and the proof speaks for itself. So the thing I don't like about social media is that I think it opens you up to a lot of the opinions and stuff of other people, and I don't really give a fuck about nobody's opinion. And I know people are like, well, if you don't care about it, it doesn't matter. But I don't even like that energy into my space. And I think that I have to, social media, just what it takes to keep up and to build a brand and all of that, it just feels just over, like, just too much in terms of like having to interact and all of that. Like, I don't want to have to make sure that my reel is this and all of that. And so I'm going to probably just hire somebody. But until then, I got to give it the good old try, so that when it's time for me to hire somebody, I can say, okay, I at least know what I need to do. Because one of my business principles is making sure that even if I outsource something, I at least learn what it is in the beginning. Because how can you hold somebody to a certain standard and you have no clue what they're supposed to be doing? And you're right, Tay, fuck them. But you know how it is when you're trying to build a brand and all of that. So anyways, all right, let me look at my notes and see some of the just random stuff. Oh, but if I go on my notes, it's gonna click me off. Ah, shit, I didn't think this through, did I? Listen, you can't have no choice but to love me. It just is what it is. Ooh. Okay, this is something I was thinking about. So I was watching, okay, don't judge me, but sometimes I browse on Tubi, and depending upon whether or not I can sit through the trash acting a lot. So I've been browsing on Tubi, and I saw that they had like this TV show that was called like Street Legal. And I saw episode 2 was supposed to be about that young lady Shanquilla that was killed in Mexico. And so I happened to watch it just because I'm just in general really intrigued about that story. And now I love my good old brothers and sisters at Tubi. I do. I love them. But yeah, the acting, it was a lot. But I made it through. And so it had me thinking about like friendships. And so in one of the scenes, the young ladies were, I guess, like the way that they dramatized this was that the young ladies were sitting around and plotting how they were going to jump her, and how, again, this is fictional, but it's just based off of the Shanquilla story. And so they were like sitting around talking about how they was going to jump her, and talking about how she was stupid because she was trying to buy their friendship, and who pays for a trip for everybody and all this other stuff. And so she came in, blah, blah, blah. That's when they jumped her. And so, and it had me thinking about like how many times in life have we or even other people been Shanquilla, and not necessarily to the point, like, of course, frenemies killing you is always at the other end of the spectrum, right? But how many of us have really been in frenemy situations where, for whatever reason, we are trying to either fit in, like a square peg in a round hole, in situations that we're not meant to fit into, or we are trying to adjust ourselves to vibrate with people that we just aren't in alignment with. And I thought about that as well because, you know, being somebody, like, I was a military brat, and so learning about or having long-term friendships is something that I never really experienced. And even when I stayed at places for multiple years, though, people were still steadily moving in and out. So it was just a lot of transition. And then being an only child, or being raised as an only child, I'll say, it just further just made me kind of in my own little bubble. And so when I got out here and I got steady in terms of like moving to Hampton Roads and like back in, I think, sixth or seventh grade, it was an adjustment. And even now still, well, I'm not going to say now still, but even in adulthood, friendships and being able to read the room and being able to understand the dynamics between friend groups and friends, associates, things of that nature, and acquaintances or whatever, was something that a lot of us, I think, we've had to learn the hard way, but ultimately she was a person that paid the ultimate price. And so in God's infinite wisdom, he has given me 2 daughters. And I joke often about how, you know, at first I wanted sons before I even thought about really having kids like that, because I just knew that girls come with a lot of stuff. But I got my 2 little mini bees, my 2 little bestie boos. And one of the fears that I have is really giving them not just that common sense, but that affirmation of self, teaching them how to affirm themselves as well, so that they don't look for a validation or they don't look for their identity in people who are still struggling to find their own. Again, I think back in life, and I think a lot of us can agree with this, that we have found ourselves trying to, I guess, fit in or whatever with people who, or admiring people who didn't even have their own life together, didn't even have their own understanding of self. And so as a mom, that is a fear that I have, especially because, you know, let's just talk about it in the Black community, that there is, like, we experience colorism, we experience, even like in our own subgroups and our subcultures and stuff, dissension between the subcultures. And so I look at my daughters and I'm like, oh, okay, how do I prepare them? Like, how do I leave them open? Because there's so much joy to be found in like sisterhood and friendship and things of that nature, but it's also a lot of pain there. And so when you think about, especially Black women in friendships, a lot of times a woman's first bully, well, I'm not going to say a lot of times, sometimes a woman's first bully is her mother. And there are a lot of difficult mother-daughter dynamics out there in any race, but in the Black community specifically is who I'm talking about. And so when you're thinking about trying to build relationships with other women or talking about friendships, I think for people who have struggled in their parent-child relationship, whether it be with a mother that was not emotionally available, jealous, or not affectionate, couldn't meet your needs, whatever that looked like for you, told your business, whatever, that we automatically go into friendships, I think, with a little bit of hesitancy or a little bit of kind of like being guarded, because the first example of sisterhood or like woman to woman connection is a relationship with our mother. And so that's one. And then also the second thing I was thinking about in terms of like difficulty in relationships is the dynamic that I think that for Black women as well, when you think about the vulnerability I think that it takes to be in a emotionally like satisfying, connected friendship with another woman, I think that requires a level of intimacy that a lot of people have difficulties with for whatever reason. And so naturally you see in the media this message pushed of, women being catty, women, let's just keep it real. Even in sororities and things like that, you have dissension, even in those groups of people that don't really like each other and all of that. And so I think it's a mixture of kind of different things that I think brings us to this point. But okay, my neural spiciness is kicking in. But back to the TV show, I thought it was very interesting because, to have somebody go with you knowing that they feel a way about you or whatever the case may be, and whether they went there and they purposely plotted on that girl or not, I believe they went there knowing that they didn't fuck with her like that or whatever that looked like. And so at the end of the day, it's just scary though to think about, it could get to the point you don't have to worry about people just talking about you behind your back and like your feelings being hurt or starting a rumor or something like that. Somebody can actually, take advantage of your kindness, get you out somewhere where you're vulnerable and completely just stomp you on your head and beat you to death and all of that, and then band together and act like they gonna all cover it up. It's just wild to me. And so I don't know, again, that story as well as just things that I experienced and I saw other people experience just makes me really nervous. And so even as a therapist, and I remind myself and give myself grace that I can be the most amazing therapist, but I can't be their therapist and their mom. And so as a mom, though, that makes me very afraid for my daughters because I know how I struggle to navigate friendships with women. And it really wasn't until recently, in the last probably couple of years, until I became comfortable in knowledge of self and I started to really heal a lot of that deep kind of wounds and stuff that I had, and really just learning how to accept myself for my quirkiness and like that I close my eyes when I talk, and I do. And just things like that, and not feeling like I gotta show up a certain way in social situations, or feeling like I have to show up and socialize when I don't feel like it. So when I'm there, I'm super awkward, or my energy is low, so people are like, oh, she's stuck up, or I'm doing too much. I ain't got time for all that. I can sit my ass right at the house and I don't have to worry about all that. So I don't want my daughters to have to go through that same struggle. And so it's funny how I see just it even starting so young in elementary school in terms of how women naturally kind of socialize. And I just try to remind my daughter that, you're not going to be liked by everybody, but your job is to be somebody that when you look in the mirror, you like what you see. Not the outside, but the inside, where you kind, where you yourself. And just helping her to build up in both of them the confidence of self so that they can help align to people that, have confidence about themselves. And they don't have to worry about aligning with people who are jealous or undercover hate them or whatever. Because again, I think just like with romantic relationships, you get back what it is that, energetically you feel about yourself. So if you don't think that you are somebody that's worthy or somebody that has self-love, and I know that this is drilled a billion times into people's head, but it's the truth. I experience in real life and I've seen it in my work. But however you feel about yourself is what you're going to attract. When I adjusted the way that, and I dealt with the shame of a lot of like trauma that I was carrying, it really started to learn to love myself, and not loving myself with condition or being perfect, or if I do this right or do that right, but really learning to love myself. The people that I attracted in my life completely changed. And that's with my female relationships. I don't like female, but my relationships with women as well. A lot of pruning, a lot of shedding. And I can say that now I engage in situations that feel good to my nervous system. And if you don't feel good to my nervous system, then it's okay. I deal with you on the level I need to deal with you. And that's okay. And that's just what your role in my life is. And I'm not going to try to make you anything less or more than what you are. Save us both the headache. Hey, Keith. Hi. Ooh, I'm sweating terrible, child. Let me see. Let me go up here because I was running my mouth. Hey, y'all. So tell me, how's your Labor Day weekend been going? I hope you guys have enjoyed your family and all of that. I didn't have anything in particular I was going to talk about, but I just wanted to come up here and connect with y'all right quick and just, because I didn't have no episode ready. So, yeah. Banana pudding moonshine in the Prince cup. Again, my nail came off today. Don't worry about it. I'm getting it fixed Tuesday. Yeah, my initials. All right, y'all. So listen. Okay. So, in the field of therapy, we've been doing a lot of advancements with like psychedelic and even like cannabis assisted therapy and stuff like that. And so I'm really, really excited about that because as a trauma therapist, I think you have to be very kind of well versed in different things. And sometimes people need certain things to kind of help them really tap into those really vulnerable spaces. And so I'm excited about that, about getting more training and kind of getting that really out there. And I was thinking about, oh no, I'll wait for that. I don't want to say nothing about that just yet. But I think that this is going to be very, very helpful with really moving our mental health kind of further. And I know that this is something that's super controversial for people. But again, I'm the type of person that thinks that there's more than one way to healing. And so I'm excited about seeing what this is going to look like for some people. And hey, whatever can kind of get you in the door, I'm down with. Like whatever we can do to get you in the door. And so that's one more person that's kind of bought in to the healing process. And, we just making it happen. So I'm excited about that. And I mentioned that just because I like to keep people who may not be aware of or have misconceptions of what therapy looks like, to let them know that it's not anything like what you see in the TV. It's not anything or what you imagine of somebody laying on the couch or whatever. Now, you can lay down because you're going to be in your own house. You can knock yourself out, whatever you want to do. But you have therapists that are just like myself, that understand and don't judge. Like I said, this is your space. So I like people to know that there is a movement, especially with therapists of color, for using cannabis as a healing with its healing properties, because it does have healing properties. So that's exciting. So be on the lookout for that. I'm pretty sure that will get pushed a lot quicker once the federal government realizes or decides, because they already realized, but decides how they can make money off of or tax weed. Then this will be kind of null and void and it'll already be moving. So yes, everybody's doing good. My grandma turned 83 yesterday. And so I thought we were going to have like a small family dinner. And like I get there and yeah, people have come up from Hampton. Like it's a whole thing. And it was an amazing, it was good to see everyone and hang out. So I've kind of been back and forth all day and just sitting with people that are in town and hanging out. And I looked up and I said, oh, shoot, I'm supposed to have an episode today. Let me at least hop up here and do a little something. But I don't know. Again, I told my friend Octavia to help me with my social media consistency because, child. I thank you, Key. Thank you. So yeah, this weekend has been super, super busy. Yeah, that's it. All right. And I was gonna like look. Oh, hold on. I really want to find those notes. I wonder is there a way that I can access it with my other phone? Hold on. Because, yeah, give me 1 second. I'm right. All right, guys, I got it. So remember, this is just random stuff that just be in my mind, right? But since this is like the most random episode ever, here we are. So I literally titled this note, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Black people, stop normalizing bullshit. Let's see. Okay, so the first thing that I said was, moms or mamas, stop staying with a man that you know is abusing your children. Yes, can we please stop doing that? Can we please stop doing that? I'm not gonna say you'll be amazed. A lot of us know them or have been them or know them. I haven't personally been them per se, but yes. Women staying with men who have been accused of abusing in any sort of way your children, choosing a piece of meat over your kid. That's what we're not doing. And so number 2, we got normalizing 27-year-old men dating 17 and 18-year-old high school girls, even if they are seniors. And we like this thing kind of runs a joke. I mean, it kind of runs its course on the internet every, once in a while. But this is something that is very, I would say, prominent in our community as well. And we tend to glorify that. However, it's not appropriate. And that then leads into like the over-sexualization of young Black girls, which is the next one. In terms of like family or people calling girls fast. And it almost feels like for Black girls Black girls, because I'm very much so 41 child, but are over-sexualized more than any race. And so I think that that's interesting, where we have the matriarchs of our families, and they tend to over-sexualize young Black girls and putting labels on them, talking about their fast, and basically blaming young girls for why older men are attracted to them. Promiscuous young women are not just hoes just because they want to be hoes or whatever the simple label that people want to attach to them. And again, as somebody who has navigated understanding how my lack of self-worth has heavily influenced who I chose to date, like in understanding that the trauma and stuff that was behind that, if we really understood, I think we do understand, but for some reason, we just choose not to give our Black young ladies the same grace that, we give other people. But these girls are not just out here just fucking because they just choose to have sex and they just love to have sex so much and all of that. Because a lot of these dudes or people that they fucking with are mid, for real, to be honest. But a lot of times they are traumatized or they are abused. And so when we are quick to assign negative labels to things, we tend to victim blame and we don't hold accountable the fathers that are not present in the home, the mothers that are stretched thin and can't be are present physically but are working multiple jobs because we want to be proud enough to say that we're not asking for child support or we just letting him do, like, no. So you got to first start there. And then you have to then go into, learning about attachment and learning about how that caregiver relationship with that child influences their romantic choice of partners. And then with 1 in 3 young ladies being sexually abused and assaulted, somebody that's right beside you or a woman that you know has been sexually abused or assaulted. So understanding that and like using a little more, just a little bit of your brain to not understand the relationship, but we as a people think that giving grace means that we agree or that, we condone the behavior. No, it's not condoning the behavior, but when has beating someone down ever helped And so what we'll do, because it just takes too much mental gymnastics to try to understand, we just joke and talk about them. But then where is the responsibility at for the young men who have sex and give their bodies as well to these young ladies, or know that these young ladies are struggling with self-esteem issues, and instead of choosing someone that has a healthy, sexual appetite and understands what they're doing, they will go and they will pick women who are abused and traumatized because it doesn't take a lot, but then you'll go and you'll talk about it afterwards. You're just as culpable. And so, yeah, that's another thing as well. Another thing, stop associating with people who don't take care of their kids. Like, again, it all goes to like a collective accountability. We want to hold white people accountable for all the things in the world. All the things in the world. But when it comes down to us holding ourselves accountable, we got a real issue with that. Unless it's about a black woman, then we want to be accountable. Then we want to go ahead and like rake it with a fine-tooth comb. But no, stop associating with people, whether it's a man or a woman. If that person is not taking care of their kid, or if they're just financially providing for their kid minimally, but they're not involved in their kid's life, if they can't tell you their kid's teacher, school teacher, they can't tell you their kid's size, and the kids are grade school, like kids are maybe only going like a couple sizes a year. You should be in some sort of ballpark figure. Like, come on now. But y'all will literally be kicking it with these people looking like clowns and dummies and, taking pictures and all that. And again, and the main thing that people will say when they know some stuff is like fucked up, but they don't want to like touch it, oh, that ain't got nothing to do with me. But it does, though, because you class with the company you keep. You want to class women together. If one girl's promiscuous, they all promiscuous. If one, blah, 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 they all. But again, it's not until we talk about people that don't take care of their kids, and it's like, okay, that's that person. That's not me. But you sitting up under this dude, letting him trick off money on you to buy y'all drinks, kicking all that. Yeah, dudes and dudes. Knowing that he hasn't seen his kids, taking care of his kids. Y'all letting the girl go out and buy outfits, going to the club multiple times a week, knowing that she ain't helped her kids with her homework, her kids at the house fending for themselves. It's trifling. And you just as trifling as they are. And these people that actually date y'all, that's a whole nother conversation. Because I have definitely dated the bottom of the barrel. And I still ain't never dated nobody that did not, from what I knew, that was not a decent father. And the one that, the one or so that I realized was not a decent dad, I quickly got away from him. For multiple reasons. So anyways. Alright, the next one. I only got 2 more to go. Okay. Women. We give more grace to these dudes that constantly embarrass. Well, I'm not going to say we. Because, no. Some women give more grace to these dudes that constantly embarrass them than they do another woman. So that kind of takes me back to the friendship piece that we were talking about. How we will have so much more grace. We have grace and we have patience for the stuff that we want to have grace and patience about. But when it comes to another woman, we quick to talk about them, cut them off, do some petty, slick stuff, but we will literally forgive that man a bazillion times. And I think about also, I ain't going to touch this but just a little bit, but the Megan Tory situation and just how a lot of the people, and not just even Megan Tory, but a lot of the sensationalized stuff that's in social media. Even a girl that was like pulled that BS like kidnapping hoax or whatever. For me, even though it didn't seem like it was all gelling together, I would rather look stupid for defending you than than me feeling bad for being on the bandwagon of people that's calling BS and something really did happen to you. Because I know how that feels, and I just would never want to be somebody that's on the other hand of that. And so I just thought about that because it was during that time that, that stuff had kind of got resurrected with all of that again. But anyways, we got to do better with that. We got to do better with that, black women. We do. We do. All right, and then my last and final thing, and then I'm going to be gone because I got to get back out of here. But, hey, yo, man, stop telling women how to be wives and your mama hasn't been one. If your mama ain't never been a wife, you can't tell me nothing. And I ain't saying me, because this doesn't necessarily apply per se. Because I done been there and done that. I've been married. Ooh, whoop-de-doo. Okay. But yeah, I get so tired of seeing on pop culture, social media, all that. People have all the advice for women. And want to tell people how to be a wife. But your mama want a wife. And probably will never be one. Sweep around your own front door first, okay? All right, then. Learn how to be a husband first. And then you come and show me how to be a wife. Anyways. All right, I'm gone, y'all. Ain't too bad for 41. All right, y'all have a good evening. I'm about to head back up out of here. Thanks for kicking it with me tonight on... Is this an episode? Shit, I don't know. But, all right then, y'all. Have a good evening. Continue to enjoy your Labor Day weekend. Be safe. And I'll see y'all later. Prescription Dolphin. Because I'm just trying to figure out. How did you learn? Where did you learn? Who taught you what a wife's supposed to be like? Because your mama ain't never been one. Oh, you still okay? Yes. Text me when you get home, boo. I'll be up for a little bit. I actually scheduled myself off tomorrow, but I still got one meeting. But I'm not going to complain, Jesus. So, yeah, text me. All right, y'all. Enjoy y'all evening, okay? Bye-bye.